For 8 consecutive years, China was Porsche's single biggest market. It made more money there than anywhere else by a mile. In 2021, Porsche sold 95,700 vehicles in China, easily beating the 86,000 cars it sold across all of Europe and the 70,000 that were delivered in the US. Porsche has historically also made more profit in China than anywhere else. However, things began to change. Sales slipped by 2% in 2022, but still pretty good at 93,000. That still beat out sales in Europe and the United States over that same period. However, Porsche's Chinese deliveries fell in 2023 to only 79,000. Things, well, have been significantly worse this year, as sales fell a further 29% and profits shrank by 42%. Porsche is about to shut down 40 dealerships in China. That represents 1 in every 3 dealerships. 33% of all Porsche dealerships are losing money. And this is a huge problem for them. The biggest reason that a lot of analysts believe is because Porsche doesn't have any particularly great electric cars. The ones that it does have, the Porsche Taycan, they're good, but they're overpriced for what they are. So Porsche is in a bit of trouble right now. It has a class action over Taycan batteries that could catch fire, and its reputation is being heavily damaged. It is in, to be honest, a critical point where its sales actually fell by 41% over the last 3 months. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Porsche is committed to internal combustion. They are. They're committed to it. They know that as a performance, or they think that as a performance car brand, they have to have it. And yet their sales are suffering. 2 months after Porsche issued a global recall of 2020 to 2024 Porsche Taycan models, in other words, 4 years of vehicle sales across the US and many other countries for a battery defect, a class action lawsuit has been filed against the automaker and is seeking a jury trial in relation to battery faults. Now, Car Scoops reported on this, but actually these battery issues are being reported in numerous countries. The lawsuit filed by Gibbs Law Group names plaintiff Miodrag Kukrika and alleges Porsche has failed to disclose or adequately repair a dangerous and widespread defect in the EV's battery pack. The law group are seeking to represent a class of owners and lessees of impacted Taycan models and claims Porsche have known about these issues since at least February 2020 after a vehicle fire at a home in Florida. Porsche investigated the incident and since then has learned about several other fires and about numerous owner complaints about battery defects, says the class action lawsuit. In the recall notice issued in early October, Porsche said the high voltage batteries of certain Taycans could short circuit, leading to fires. Owners have been asked to actually not charge their vehicles above 80% until 2025 at some point, don't know when an onboard diagnostic system will be installed to detect battery module anomalies. Pretty similar to what General Motors did, right? Basically, don't fix the problem, just create a system in the car that can detect when batteries actually have faults. Vehicles known to have battery faults will have their battery packs replaced. The class action lawsuit says the automaker hasn't addressed the root cause of the defect, which they haven't, it's true, and should repair or replace all of the defective batteries. They allege that Porsche is guilty of fraudulent concealment and omission, breach of the implied warranty of merchantability, and negligent misrepresentation or omission. They are seeking a jury trial and have requested injunctive relief alongside an award of punitive compensatory, treble or exemplary damages for all class members. The battery defect presents an unreasonable safety risk to drivers and passengers of the class vehicles and to people in residential homes and other structures where the vehicles are parked or near. The class action was filed in the US District Court for the Northern District of Georgia on the 29th of November. So far this year, it's been a pretty disastrous year for Porsche. Porsche actually operates 138 dealerships in China, where they make around 50% of their global profit. But that number will be reduced to 100 after Porsche profits continue to shrink and sales continue to fall in the largest car market in the world. A car market that is electrifying. Around 55% of all cars sold over the last 3 months have been electric in China, and Porsche, to be honest, is just not prepared for that shift. Keep in mind as well, Porsche have rivals in China that are selling at much lower prices. In many ways, people think the Xiaomi SU7 is a direct rival for Porsche vehicles, and they see it as maybe in some ways a better car, and it's a fraction of the price. The same applies to vehicles like the Zeekr 001, which of course has a sort of a similar shape to a Porsche Taycan, but it's more practical, it's got a bigger boot space, it's got more technologically advanced battery packs, has actually faster real-world charging speed. Many people are like, well, why buy a Porsche when I can get something else which might be better and is less than half the price? If you love Porsche or internal combustion, you're probably thinking this is just a clickbait video. It can't possibly be true. However, investors may come and say, well, mate, you're wrong. We disagree. And that could be the reason why Porsche's share price has fallen so drastically from around 51 euros to 39. That's a big difference. Porsche as a company is in trouble. Make no mistake about it. Porsche's global profits have fallen by 42% this year. That's primarily thanks to the fact that in China, its sales have been obliterated. Now, they haven't ended. I mean, people are still buying Porsches in China, but not that many of them. And that's meant that a lot of Porsche dealers have gone underwater. In fact, Porsche are claiming that their dealership network has been changed or adjusted by 30%. The truth is, these dealerships have actually gone bankrupt. Jeep as an entire company went bankrupt in China. Mitsubishi left China. Hyundai, they still exist in China technically, but yeah, they're not doing so great there either. Many automakers, their sales, General Motors sales have fallen by 50%. Volkswagen Group sales have fallen by about 50%. BMW sales last month fell by 30% in a single month alone. It's happening across the entire legacy automotive industry in China. But for it to happen to a premium dealer like Porsche is something many people said would never happen. They said the Chinese were too brand focused. They love their brands. They love their luxury consumer products. And there's a lot of people there. There's nearly 1.4 billion people. Surely it wouldn't happen to Porsche, but it has. What has happened?